Lego has been draining wallets for decades, but some sets cross the line from premium to absolutely ridiculous, charging you hundreds or even thousands of dollars for plastic bricks that cost pennies to manufacture. The price per piece problem. Lego fans have a golden rule when shopping for sets. They calculate the price per piece ratio to determine if they're getting a fair deal. The sweet spot sits around 10 to 12 cents per piece. Anything above 15 cents starts raising eyebrows, but some sets completely shatter this metric, charging 20, 30, or even 50 cents per brick. The worst offenders are usually licensed sets where Lego has to pay royalties to Disney, Warner Brothers, or other massive corporations. These licensing fees get passed directly to you, the consumer, turning what should be a $50 set into a $100 money grab. The real kicker is that the actual manufacturing cost of these pieces is absurdly low. Lego produces billions of bricks annually in highly automated factories where the cost per piece is measured in fractions of a cent. The plastic itself, ABS polymer, costs Lego roughly 2 cents per brick to produce, so when you're paying 50 cents per piece, you're looking at a markup of 2,000% or more. The company justifies this with research and development costs, quality control, and brand value. But let's be honest, they charge these prices because they can. The Taj Mahal Money Pit, the Lego Taj Mahal set originally released in 2007, holds the crown for being one of the most expensive sets ever sold at retail. This beast contained 5,923 pieces and cost $300 at launch. The price per piece actually wasn't terrible by today's standards, sitting at about 5 cents per brick. But here's where it gets insane. Lego discontinued the set in 2010, and the aftermarket prices exploded like a rocket. Sealed boxes started selling for $2,000, then $3,000, eventually hitting peaks of $5,000 or more. People were treating these boxes like investment portfolios. When Lego re-released an updated version in 2017, they bumped the price to $370, despite having fewer pieces than the original. The new version had 5,923 pieces. Wait, no, it actually had fewer at 5,923. Actually, the re-release had even more pieces but cost more money, making the price per piece ratio worse than the original. Collectors who paid thousands for the original release watched their investment crumble overnight. The Taj Mahal represents everything frustrating about Lego pricing. It's a gorgeous set, incredibly detailed, and genuinely impressive when completed. But the price tag, especially on the secondary market, turned it into a status symbol rather than a toy. People bought it to display their wealth, not to enjoy building it. Licensed set extortion Star Wars sets are the worst offenders in the licensed category. The Millennium Falcon Ultimate Collector Series, released in 2017 for $800. Yes, $800 for a Lego set. It contained 7,541 pieces, which sounds impressive until you do the math. That's about 11 cents per piece, which technically isn't horrible. But compare that to non-licensed creator expert sets which offer 6 to 8 cents per piece, and you realize you're paying a 40% premium just for the Star Wars logo on the box. The Death Star is another prime example of licensed robbery. The 2016 version retailed for $500 with 4,016 pieces. That's 12.5 cents per piece. The set included 24 minifigures, which Lego uses to justify the premium pricing. But minifigures cost Lego maybe 25 cents each to produce, adding $6 in manufacturing costs, while they charge you an extra $200 compared to similar unlicensed sets. Disney takes a massive cut from every Star Wars set sold, reportedly between 10 and 15% of the retail price. So $40 to $60 of that $500 Death Star goes straight to Disney's pockets without them touching a single brick. Marvel and DC sets follow the same pattern, charging premium prices because they know superhero fans will pay anything to get their favorite characters in Lego form. The great minifigure scam Lego discovered an evil genius strategy in the early 2000s. They realized collectors would pay absurd amounts for exclusive minifigures, so they started releasing sets where the minifigures were worth more than the actual bricks. The Star Wars Cloud City set from 23 cost $450 and included 18 minifigures. Sounds reasonable until you realize the build itself was mediocre at best, mostly consisting of simple grey platforms and repetitive structures. People bought this set exclusively for the minifigures, particularly the exclusive Lando Calrissian and Princess Leia versions. LEGO knew this and intentionally kept the build quality low to maximize profit margins while charging premium prices. Take the minifigure price out of the equation, and you're looking at a set that should cost maybe $150. The Batman tumbler with the Joker minifigure faced similar criticism. The vehicle itself was an impressive build, but LEGO charged $40 extra compared to similar non-licensed vehicles purely because it included exclusive minifigures. Collectors who just wanted the figures had to buy the entire set, creating artificial demand and justifying inflated prices. Some exclusive minifigures now sell for hundreds of dollars individually on the secondary market. The chrome gold C-3PO from 27 randomly inserted in Star Wars sets sells for over $3,000. LEGO created a gambling-like system where kids and collectors chase rare figures, driving up demand and prices for sets they wouldn't otherwise buy. Architecture sets highway robbery. The LEGO architecture line targets adults with sophisticated tastes and sophisticated incomes. These sets recreate famous buildings and landmarks in microscale, using mostly small pieces to create detailed facades and structures. The problem is the price per piece ratio on these sets reaches obscene levels. The Architecture Statue of Liberty released for $120 with 1,685 pieces. That's 7 cents per piece, which seems reasonable. But compare it to the LEGO Creator Statue of Liberty from years earlier, which had nearly 3,000 pieces for roughly the same price. And you see the problem. The architecture branding lets LEGO charge premium prices for less plastic. The worst offender is the Architecture Studio set, which contained 1,210 pieces of mostly white and transparent bricks with no instructions, just a guidebook. They charged $150 for this, making it 12.5 cents per piece for the most basic, generic bricks imaginable. No licensed characters, no complex molds, just standard bricks in white. LEGO marketed it as a professional tool for architects and designers, justifying the premium with fancy packaging and a coffee table book. But strip away the marketing and you're paying luxury prices for basic bricks that cost pennies to produce. The Eiffel Tower architecture set hit $200 for 3,950 pieces. People defended this as reasonable because the build was complex and the final model impressive. But LEGO released a creator expert Eiffel Tower years later with over 10,000 pieces for $300, exposing the architecture version as overpriced by nearly 50%. Ideas Sets Betrayal. The LEGO Ideas platform promised community-driven sets where fans vote on designs submitted by other fans. The winning designs get produced as official sets, with the original creator receiving 1% of royalties. This sounds wholesome until you look at the pricing. Ideas sets consistently cost 20 to 30% more than equivalent creator sets, despite using similar pieces and construction techniques.